Rising tuition and student loan debt has become a serious issue for many students. For perspective on the problem and some possible solutions, we're joined by U.S. Bank senior equity strategist Jim Russell. Jim, good to have you with us.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. So, student loan debt is larger than credit card debt?
It's amazing. The only loan categories that are growing over the last couple of years are auto loans and student loans. A lot of folks have taken the last several years to pay down credit card debt, all kinds of mortgage debt, etc. Student loans continue to be an area that people struggle with.
Is that putting it out of reach for a lot of families?
Absolutely it is. Clearly, college is becoming a little bit more elusive for most families. $1 trillion in student loan debt is a bit daunting for the country. 3.5% is the unemployment rate for four-year graduates of college. Right now, the national unemployment rate is 7.3.
What is the root of this problem?
Yeah, there are a couple of different reasons why that is the case. The federal government has tried to play a constructive role, but we can see here in the blue line, these are college costs since 1980. They're up enormously, and you can see the median family wage there in the red line, and you can see the gap represents really the struggle since 1980 that most families face. Now, you can see that the gap has actually widened here in recent years for two reasons. Number one, the federal government is subsidizing in lesser of a way, fewer checks. The checks are smaller. Public colleges such as University of Cincinnati, Ohio State, etc. Secondly, the endowments of many colleges really took a hit in the financial crisis. So the colleges themselves are unable really to provide much in the way of cost reduction. So this is a daunting problem, no question.
And isn't college education becoming very competitive? You see all these colleges with offices on the interstate where they're visible, and many of them for profit.
But I think we will see are many things that you just mentioned, more online opportunities, and I think we'll also see over the next 10 to 15 years many colleges actually going out of business, something a little bit new, so something to watch as we move forward.
Hey there. Now before we continue, let's go over some points from the video you just watched. Student loan debt is larger than credit card debt. Over $1 trillion in student loans. 3.5% is the unemployment rate for four-year grads, and the national rate is 7.3. The gap between median families' income and college costs is significant, and many colleges will be going out of business in the future. Now let's proceed to part 2.
Student loans, the crushing debt.
The cost of a college education is rapidly rising, far more than the cost of inflation, more than even the cost of health care, but I don't hear a peep about it in the media.
The policy of student loans is a total failure. I mean, $1 trillion of debt.
The colleges need to justify what it is they're doing with our tuition dollars and our taxpayer dollars.
It's becoming more and more and more expensive to go to college.
You are seeing the potential of an economically lost generation.
And the average debt for a college senior right now is over $25,000.
It's time for Congress to stand for the rights of student loan borrowers.
Because in the United States of America, no one should go broke because they chose to go to college.
You're going to college no matter what. Like, even if you have to like scrape gum off the ground, like, you're going to college. And so when I decided like I'm gonna go to a four-year university, I wanna go to a big school, it wasn't until later I realized like, oh my gosh, I'm paying for this. I have like a $2,000 loan, a $4,000 loan, a $3,000 loan, and then the $18,000 loan. And then I have like a school direct plus, that's like $2,000.
Federal loans, I think since the late 70s, you haven't ever been able to declare bankruptcy. That's across the board on federal loans. But until 2005, you could declare bankruptcy on private loans. The moment that they put the bankruptcy protection in, schools had no incentive to keep tuition low. They started to go skyrocketing out of control because they were backed by the federal government and they would always get their money, no matter what. It's different than any other debt that we have. You can discharge your credit card debt, your home loans, your medical debt. You cannot get rid of your student debt. It sticks with you forever. So they have plenty of money, but it's just not to subsidize the cost of education for students. And it's that I don't think the students want it. They want, every school wants to compete with each other to be the most prestigious, the most beautiful school, when in fact students just want a simple education for as cheap as possible.
Does the money that students put in to their tuition, do they actually get it back? If you look at tuition between 1979 and 2010, it's increased 175% in private colleges and 220% in public universities and colleges. So it appears that a lot of this extra money that students pay for tuition is not going into the classroom to improve their education, but is going for administrators. Several years ago, I was holding up hearing approval to build a fitness center at Northern Arizona University because they were going to charge the students like $300–400 a year to pay for the fitness center, a gym, you know, like a spa on campus. And I said, you know what, you want to build your fitness center, then charge a fee for those who want to use it and and have that pay for the fitness center. Don't make every student on the campus pay this. And what do the administrators tell me? Well, we have to be competitive. If we don't have a fitness center, we can't get all these extra students.
It's all money all the time, and I feel like it sounds weird, but if you want to get an education, money shouldn't be a part of it. You see my financial aid. You look at it with your own eyes. You see how much I'm coming from, how much I make, how much I don't make, like how much is in my bank account. You literally have the paper in front of you, and you ask a kid who doesn't have a job, who has, you know, $1,000 in their bank account that's in their savings and like $2 in my checking account, and they're like, okay, so we want you to pay $36,000 a year.
My loans will continue to grow faster than any salary or wage ever can. It has cost me my family, it has cost me my friends, it has cost me 2 potential marriages, and of course I've shied away from having children because I simply can't afford it. I currently make $8.50 an hour as a cashier at Ace Hardware.
I'll be $45,000 in debt by the time I graduate.
Facing turning 62 and knowing I have another 30 years to pay on my student loan is daunting.
Someone hearing my story, one of my teachers hearing my story, they just go like, why are you in class? You know, like you should be out working or something, you know?
Study and get A's. You want to get a great job? Leave college with a GPA that's high. I don't know what the answer is. I don't want to deny anybody the right to go to college, but I think everybody should understand what they're getting into and what they're going to leave with, because it's not the dream that college was in the 1960s when I went to college, when it was a true ticket to prosperity. Things have changed.
Have caused me to have to fight every single day to be able to pay my bills. If I didn't have that student loan, I would be able to go out and search for a new job. I think we need to listen to the millions because we need to be heard.
I don't think it's fair that education is placed on the lower end of the spectrum when it comes to being recognized as something that everyone needs.
Help me in any way. I looked into their hardship plans and their disability deferment plans, and one reason or another, I was always ineligible. And that begs the question, if someone with brain cancer is ineligible for the hardship program, then who the hell is eligible for the hardship program?
I'll definitely be over $100,000 in debt by the time I graduate, so I'll be paying that off for the rest of my life.
It's increasingly seeming that students who went to school are actually in more trouble than students that didn't, because they're not having that $100,000 debt on their back when they graduate.
They've allowed college administrators to jack up the tuition. It's a very simple process. If these loans weren't being subsidized at dirt cheap prices, and if students weren't getting all these grants, then the administrators wouldn't be able to charge ridiculous rates for tuition. They'd have to be competitive and charge lower rates.
The bottom line is, throughout the United States, there has been an erosion of state support for higher education at public colleges and universities, and that onus, that responsibility has shifted to students. And so, 3 years ago when we look at the state's budget cuts, about $265 million of those budget cuts came in higher education.
I feel like it's almost like a company, it's almost like a business. Like when your education is turned into business rather than being like, you should be looked up to because you're going to school and you're doing the right thing. And I almost feel like it's like, I'm getting punished with these bills and with these late fees and with these everything that comes, like half of the stuff that adds up to your tuition, I have no idea where it goes, what it adds up to. It's like, technology fee, like what does that even mean?
They're degree factories. Schools have become degree factories and not academia, places of higher education and where great minds come together to talk.
It's not the same system it was 10, 20 years ago that a lot of people remember. And we're coming out now in so much debt that it's difficult to fathom.
I can hardly afford to live on my annual salary and pay back my student loan debt. Education may have set my mind free, but my student loan debts have shackled me for life.
I earned this, and right now, all it is a piece of paper. It's not getting me any jobs or anything.
They need to realize that this is crushing the quote-unquote American dream for people, and it's going to hurt. We have no idea what the effect of so many student debtors will be 10 years from now on the American economy, and that's what I'm afraid of.
So when you go out there with your degree, because everybody else has a degree, you get less money. Or instead of being a barrister with your law degree, you are a barista at Starbucks. That's the way it goes. And that's the reality of the situation.
So now, what can we do to change your situation? Well, whether you are currently in debt or not, that's a problem we're able to fix together. And I'll show you how. We see here is the hub. And in the hub, there's multiple applications, but one specifically called Finance, which will help you in reducing your debt. And what you see here is an organized area where you can store your credit and debit cards. And when you get access to this application, you'll be able to store your bank cards, debit or credit. And that process is simple. All you have to do, log into your finance account, enter your bank credentials, and not worry at all because it has the same security as your bank's original website, so your information is safe. One of the neatest features, it even tracks the progress of your payments throughout the months so you won't rip your hair out doing it. It even tracks the transactions of the card that you use, so you can know more in detail about the transaction, like where you spent it and how much you spent. You can even categorize them by purpose and the type of transaction. For example, let's say you spent $123, but you wanted to list $83 for groceries and $40 were for, let's say, clothing. You can put that in and the system will register it. Now let's get to the debt tab. This is probably one of the best features out of the Finance app. Now let's say you can add an extra $200 to your debt repayment. It shows you the amount of time and money that you save. Now let's add $600 for a total of $800. You get to see that you save almost $51,000 and 6 years of payment. Now let's add $2,700. You just accelerated 11 years and saved roughly about $82,000. Say you want to look at a specific account. You can do that. You can change minimum payment and adjust interest rate if it changes. Say you want to look at a specific account, like say here, Bank of America. Shows you how fast you'll get rid of it. And then you can go back and look at your other accounts. Pretty neat, isn't it? You will also be introduced to TaxBot. Start getting paid 56 cents for every mile you travel. No more dealing with annoying receipts. Just take a picture of your receipt, loads on your phone, goes up to an online server that you can access when you do your taxes. And the best part is, it's on the web and on your mobile device. Now welcome to the Hub Life. I'm sure we can both agree that you've been tired of a situation for long enough. So let's rebel against that dead routine and start living a better life today.